All right, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are taking a 22-second fever dream and treating it with the absolute, utter seriousness it deserves. We're deconstructing what we're officially calling the Ohio elevator encounter. Now, on the surface, sure, it's just a bizarre, fleeting little internet video. But if we really look closely, man, it is this fascinating micro-study in social dynamics. It's about breaking unwritten rules and, literally, the sudden, forceful rewriting of reality itself. So we're going to break down every single second of this thing and analyze exactly how a totally mundane situation completely collapses into absolute digital chaos. Okay, let's jump right into the hook here. It instantly sets the stage with that super specific text, POV, getting into an elevator in Ohio, complete with the skull emoji. Now, if you've been on the internet for more than 5 minutes recently, you know Ohio is basically shorthand for a place where the laws of physics, logic, and just normal human behavior completely go out the window. It instantly primes us for the absurd. But what really anchors this opening is the audio. Right at the top, there is this incredibly tense, heavy breathing sound effect. It plunges us straight into this high-tension atmosphere before anyone even says a single word. It tells you right away, hey, this is not going to be a safe, normal elevator ride.
And that brings us right to our core conflict, our two characters. On one side, we've got John. John's just a normal guy wearing a suit. He's basically the poster child for order, everyday corporate life, the establishment, the standard social contract. But then, on the other side, we have Mike. Mike is just this weird guy holding a single raw potato. He is the absolute antithesis of John. By trapping this absolute everyman in a box with an agent of pure, unblinking chaos, the setup creates this brilliant visual clash. I mean, you literally have the refined, manufactured business suit going up against a raw, unpolished root vegetable.
But, the environment itself is just as important as the characters. Think about it. An elevator is this highly confined, inescapable little liminal space where you're supposed to stare at the floor numbers, stand perfectly still, and just pretend the other person doesn't exist. But here, the trap is set the exact millisecond those doors shut. John is locked in with a guy who is actively defying literally every elevator rule in the book. Mike is not staring at the door. He is staring directly at John, without blinking, I might add. And he shoves this potato right up into John's face. The entire concept of personal space, completely obliterated.
So what do you even do in that situation? How does a totally ordinary person react to something that inexplicable when they're trapped in a box? Well, we see John nervously attempt to use polite, everyday social norms to try and de-escalate things. He goes, nice potato, man. And honestly, that is such a classic human survival mechanism. By complimenting the thing that's making him uncomfortable, John is desperately trying to normalize the interaction. He's trying to wrangle Mike's unhinged behavior back into a standard conversational box. He acknowledges the potato, basically hoping that if he just names the weird thing, it'll diffuse the tension.
But here is where things take a massive left turn. Check out Mike's reaction. He doesn't laugh. He doesn't break character for a second. With this completely deadpan expression, Mike absolutely rejects physical reality and substitutes his own digital one. He says it's not a potato, it's a wireless mouse. This right here, this is the pivot point of the whole explainer. Mike isn't just holding a weird object anymore. He is actively demanding that John rewrite his own foundational understanding of the universe. In Mike's world, that root vegetable is a piece of computer hardware. And he says it with the absolute, unshakable confidence of a guy just stating a basic fact of life. And this is wild. The crucial point here is how fast John completely folds. I mean, faced with a guy who is so aggressively confident that a potato is not a potato, John just accepts this bizarre new reality so he can survive the elevator ride. He actually says, right, of course, my bad. He apologizes. He takes the blame for misidentifying a raw potato as a raw potato. It really shows you the immense psychological pressure of being in that tiny, confined space. John instantly does the math and realizes that arguing with Mike about the fundamental nature of vegetables is vastly more dangerous than just totally submitting to the delusion. All right, so the tension is already at a boiling point, and then we get this sudden burst of physical action. Up until now, the threat has been entirely psychological, just staring and weird statements. But then Mike crosses the final physical boundary. Out of nowhere, he aggressively rubs the potato directly against John's suit jacket. It just completely shatters that tense, awkward stillness they had going. It is a literal physical invasion, this jarring escalation that catches John, and honestly all of us watching, completely off guard. The suit, which is the ultimate symbol of John's normality, is literally being physically assaulted by Mike's chaos. But why is he doing it? Well, Mike actually narrates his own tech procedure out loud for us. He goes, click, Click, scroll, I am trying to open Google Chrome on your shirt. He is desperately and honestly methodically trying to interface with a piece of tailored clothing using a literal root vegetable. It is this incredible, almost poetic mapping of digital internet actions onto the physical biological world. He is treating John's torso like a literal computer desktop. The absurdity is completely off the charts, but Mike's commitment to the bit is absolute. In his mind, he isn't attacking John. He's literally just trying to browse the web. Which leads us to what is probably the most fascinating psychological break in this whole thing. John rightfully freaks out, right? He leans back against the elevator wall trying to get away, but listen to the exact words he uses. He yells, "Bro, stop, you're lagging my jacket." Did you catch that? Notice how John has entirely adopted Mike's absurd tech logic to describe what's happening to him. He doesn't say, "Hey, you're getting potato starch on me," or "You're ruining my suit." He says lagging. In that moment of sheer panic, John's brain completely surrenders to the digital reality that Mike built. The virus of Mike's logic has successfully infected John's mind. And to understand just how severe this is, we have to recognize that this is not just a metaphor. According to the source material, a literal glitch and error sound effect actually triggers in real life right at this exact moment. Think about that. Reality itself is actually bending to accommodate Mike's delusion. Lagging is no longer just a term for a slow Wi-Fi connection. It has literally become the physical manifestation of a software error on a normal guy's suit jacket caused by a potato mouse. The very fabric of the reality is glitching out in real time. And then, ding! Just as fast as the total chaos erupted, the climax instantly deflates right back into this totally mundane calmness. The elevator stops, the doors slide open, the physical journey is over, and Mike instantly resets to this perfectly composed state. He just calmly puts the potato in his pocket, almost like he's holstering a weapon or putting away an actual smartphone. The stark contrast between the absolute unhinged insanity that just went down to inside that box and this sudden, polite return to standard social protocol, it is incredibly jarring. But he's not done. As he exits, Mike delivers this absolutely chilling final warning. He looks at John and says, "Have a nice day, sir. Your antivirus is expiring tomorrow." I mean, wow. He keeps the polite sir, upholding all the normal formalities of polite society while simultaneously dropping this incredibly ominous digital threat. It just leaves John standing there completely frozen in shock. His whole reality has crumbled. He's basically left standing there wondering, wait, am I a computer? Are we in a simulation? Was that potato actually a mouse? The whole encounter just leaves you with this lingering existential dread. And the scene perfectly wraps up with Mike walking out like an absolute boss. The audio shifts from those tense, heavy breathing and glitching sounds we heard earlier, straight into this triumphant thug life music. It completely cements Mike's absolute victory over the normal world that he just glitch hacked. I mean, he successfully forced his own reality onto another human being, he executed his bizarre operating procedure, he delivered his final warning, and then he just walked away completely unscathed as the screen fades to black. So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to think about the fragility of our everyday social contracts. It's wild to realize that it literally only takes one person with a raw potato and an unwavering commitment to a totally different reality to completely lag your day. So I'm going to leave you with this crucial thought about just how vulnerable your own reality might be to a sudden digital intrusion. If this happened to you right now, when does your antivirus expire? Keep that in mind the next time you step into an elevator, guys. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and as always, keep questioning the reality around you.